Okay, everyone, I'm so excited today to have my mentor and my teacher, Dr. Jessica Richmond, on the show. She's a very busy lady, so we're very, very lucky to have you here, Dr. Jessica. So, and you're in India right now, right?
Yep.
You just, one of the things I love about you is that you live your Dharma. You live everything that you preach and you live it. Um, and yeah, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you and where you are at the moment?
So I'm a psychologist and I specialize in Vedic psychology. That's why I live in India. And I study under my guru. Paris also knows him, right? You've been studying under him a long time too.
Yes.
His name is Babaji Satyanarayana Dasa, but we just call him Babaji. And he teaches about this very sublime form of love called Bhakti Yoga. And so my role is to help people clear out any old stuff from in their mind, like that blocks them from being able to absorb his teachings and get to this very high form of love. I'm like the car wash of the mind, basically.
I love that. The car wash of the mind. Well, you have been helping me with that for how many years now? I mean, the car wash, it's like it's not something that gets done really quickly. It's like we figure one thing out, we clear it out, and then another thing shows up. And then I'm like, Jessica, I need you. I don't know what to do with this other thing. So we've been doing that for years, and I first met you in one of the Vedic or Ayurvedic trainings that I did. And I think it was happening, the advanced Ayurvedic training that was happening in Boston.
Yeah.
And you showed up with Babaji, and you're both like, there's this calm and elegance about you. And you're just sitting there like, look at these the students. Hopefully they'll have it figured out, and then I just everything you were teaching was like, for me, boom, 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 boom. Oh my God, this resonates so much with me. And of course, Ayurveda is a very vast field, and we love every bit and aspect of it. But it was the Ayurvedic psychology that really intrigued me, and that's how I started studying and becoming a clinical counselor and bringing that into my practice. So I've learned so much of my stuff from you, and so I appreciate that. But today we're going to talk about something that is very interesting and exciting for many of our listeners, including myself, and that is relationships, romantic relationships, because aren't they so juicy? I was just talking to a friend the other day on a different podcast, and I was like, oh, whenever I'm like doing meditations, or I'm in a retreat or in the Himalayas meditating, my ass is on fire, enlightened. Like, I'm so enlightened. But the moment I come back to my relationship, I know what happens. It all falls apart. And all of my samskaras start showing up, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of my listeners and clients know a little bit about samskaras because I talk about them all the time. But they're basically these memories at the back of our subconscious mind that are always there and ready to be activated, but whatever we feel, and usually in our romantic relationships we feel the most, right? Is that why? So please tell us.
Yes. Before I answer, I just want to say that you are our Vedic psychology poster child. You are our success, a big success story for us, because Vedic psychology, when we met you, we had just started working together, Babaji and I. I was living in the US, working at a psychiatric hospital, and Babaji said, I have this philosophy, Vedic psychology, but I don't have patients because I'm a guru. I don't see clients like that. Can you try it with your clients? So that was, back in, I think, 2015, 2015 that I tried it first. And so it was really like, you were one of the very first people who grabbed hold of it and like were the proof of concept, because, you took it, you learned it, you applied it to yourself, you improved so much in your life, right? In all the different ways in your life, you got these huge success stories. And then you went all the way to the max. You went back to school, you became a counselor on top of everything else, So really, the call I was just on before this, I was telling him about you, not because of the podcast. I was like, let me tell you about our client success story, because we, you represent our vision of what Vedic psychology should be, that somebody takes it and absorbs it and brings it into their life and then teaches other people it, So I just wanted to say thank you really from the bottom of both of our hearts
Thank you.
for taking
Thank
these
you
teachings
for saying
far.
Yeah, no, thank you for saying that. And I think that comes from finding our Dharma, right? When we talk about when you find something that makes you so excited, and it just feels like you even remember this information from a different lifetime.
Yeah.
And there is no stopping you.
Yes.
And people are like, how do you do all this and then go back to school and you have little children? And
it's amazing
because it gives me so much joy. I know that everything has come together, the yoga, the everything to bring me to this moment where I can help people with this stuff. And you guys really created a system that can, teach people like me how to apply it in therapy and into their own yoga practices and their families. And so that system is so, so valuable, because otherwise this stuff gets lost. It's such beautiful information from all these ancient
these eternal truths from the Vedas, from the Indian scriptures, that Babaji has put together in a way that's digestible for us, but you got it, and you're bringing it to the world, and we're so appreciative of that.
Oh, thank you for affirming that for me.
Yes, you're very good at it.
Yes, I love every bit. But recently I had to reach out to you and be like, I think one of my samskaras is coming up in my relationship, and it's really I'm blindfolded by it. Like, I don't understand what is happening. So
okay, so you want me to describe samskaras real quick, just kind of round out your
You can use me as a case study if you want. What is happening?
So I'll describe samskaras, and then you can describe, maybe ask questions and I'll answer them related to your samskaras or something like that. Because if you bring it to like a story, that's the best way to learn, if we tell somebody's story and apply the concepts, right?
Yeah.
So you're being very, very vulnerable to share, but whatever part you want to share, I'm happy to like analyze, according to Vedic psychology. I think that will help people understand it much better, but in general, what a samskara is just a memory. Any memory. So we have, in Vedic psychology, we focus on the negative ones, the ones that are like faulty programs that are almost like viruses in your subconscious mind that cause you to behave in ways that hurt you, or that hurt somebody else, that are dysfunctional, and sometimes, most of the times, you don't even realize it because they're invisible. Then your subconscious or unconscious mind, they're not visible to you. What you think is, that person is such a freaking jerk. Why can't they get it? But just the bigger picture about samskaras is, like, right now, in the time we've talked, we've made hundreds of them. Samskaras new ones are being made all the time. And most of them have zero charge. And in other words, every samskara that's ever been made, every memory that's ever been made, most of them have no emotional charge, like brushing your teeth, you just had a sip of a drink, like nothing. But there's a certain subsegment that are so heavily emotionally charged. And those are the ones that are our faulty programming, our viruses. And there's some that are so positively charged, positive emotions, that those are our good qualities. Like, you're a really good mom, you're a really good teacher, so you're a really good yoga teacher, Ayurveda teacher, psychology teacher. So you have very good samskaras for teaching and for understanding and for being a mother, that type of thing. You see what I mean? And then you might have really negative ones for other parts of your life where you're like, why can't I figure this out? Why do I keep doing the same damn thing? Any kind of phobia we have, any kind of addiction, anytime you're feeling something other than peaceful, that's a negative samskara. And any negative feeling other, because peaceful is like good samskaras, like I'm peaceful, I'm relaxed in the world. But then why is it after you're meditation retreat that you come back and you're like, I want to punch the wall. I'm so angry at you. That's a samskara getting triggered, but we don't realize it. That's a memory file that's in our subconscious mind of something that happened most often in the first 7 years of our life, because up until that point, that's when the personality gets formed. That's literally driving us right now. It's been activated, it's invisible, and it's making us act in a certain way. And the way it gets activated is when something similar is happening in our current life. So it mimics what happened in the childhood. So just say you have like we're getting into romantic relationships. So just say you have a husband or a boyfriend, girlfriend, some partner who's like aloof emotionally. That's a common one, right? Aloof emotionally. They're not checked in and attuned to your feelings. Most likely either your father or mother was like that, or your primary caregiver as a child. And that was extremely painful. But we don't, that never got processed, with us. There's not some child psychologist who sat there and worked through it with us or something. So it's just laying there as a painful, undigested memory that I'm not worthy of love. I'm not important. My feelings don't matter, So then when our partner does it to us as an adult, all those feelings, like very childhood baby feelings, we start crying, we get angry, we throw a tantrum when you ignore me. But really, it's just our partner's maybe depressed or something. It doesn't have anything to do with us, or they're checked out. But we react like a small child. So I know that's a mouthful. You can take it apart, but that's the idea of what samskaras are and how they play out in our life. Does that make sense?
No. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I love that you mentioned the positive side of it too, because I'd never think of samskaras that way, but it's so true. So if you're really motherly, or you just have all this love and you're just constantly giving your children love, that is also a samskara. It's just inside of you somewhere. You're not trying to create something that is not a part of you.
Yeah.
And I love that. There's balance. There's always light. There's always hope.
Yes. And that's when, as a therapist, right, sometimes you have to reframe things for your client and help them see all their good samskaras too. That's one of the techniques we do, right? When someone's feeling really down, we say, well, wait a minute. I mean, you are having a problem with your partner right now, but you've got all these other good qualities going on, or these other good things, these other, you don't have to feel that you're like a loser or unlovable just because your husband can't see you, how good you are.
Right.
So then you help remind them of all their good samskaras, all the other people who do see the good in them, like their friends, their girlfriends. Those are samskaras.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's how we create balance. And I also love how you explain that, if we are having any issues with our partners, and it drives us insane to that point where we're like, why can't you say you love me, or show your emotions more? Or and it's often like 99% of time has nothing to do with us, and it's and we have chosen this person because this is a familiar pattern. Is that right?
That's what we're attracted to. Yeah, we actually don't want somebody who'd be quote unquote good for us. We're attracted to what we're familiar with. So if it's the emotionally unavailable father, then we're going to pick the emotionally unavailable partner, and then we get mad at the partner. And it's not that the partner is not emotionally unavailable. They are emotionally unavailable. But the problem is that it's bothering us. That's when we say the problem's inside you, it's that samskara, that's the unhealed, like basically trauma, but we're projecting on them like, why don't you love me? Instead of being like, oh, that's just their nature. They're emotionally unavailable. It doesn't mean they don't love me. It means they can't express. Instead of being like, some people like, it can hurt you very badly, especially if your mother was not attuned to you, right? If your mother was not attuned to your feelings, especially with, the whole attachment theory in those first few months of life, that's going to just torment you the rest of your life, because you're most likely going to pick people who are not emotionally attuned to you and just feel so hurt all the time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And so let's say for a person like that, they come to you and actually that is very similar to what's happening with me in my relationship. And it's like, I want my partner to feel more, or have more emotions, and be more involved and engaged. And this is also so good to know about like the different doshas, because we talk about it all the time. We're like, oh, well, he's a kapha. Like, He's just sitting there, the earth and water element, just comfortable on the couch, watching his movie. And I'm like, what don't you want to spend time with me? And every time I have to be like, Paris, he's just chilling. Like, that's who he is,
Yeah. That's his nature. Nothing
that's
against
his nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than understanding these dynamics, knowing the doshas, what else can we do in a situation like that?
This
In a
is very, very
relationship?
hard. Very, very hard, but good, excellent question. So even if you understand it intellectually, like, yeah, I know that this is my samskara. That's because my dad wasn't emotionally available for me, or my mom, or both, and I'm projecting it onto him. Great. That doesn't change how you feel about it. It makes you feel worse, because then you're like, I know the problem and I still want him to change, and I still feel very frustrated, and I still feel hurt. So sometimes it makes it worse. So what I say to my clients is, when you get to that point that you can recognize the problem, that's a huge success. That means your awareness is raised, and you should expect to feel more frustrated. You have to get frustrated and very frustrated before you're going to change. So you have to be like, oh my God, like, I see the problem, and I see myself, and I see that I'm getting triggered, and I see that I'm hurt, and I see that I'm angry, and I see that I'm taking out on him. Oh my, I can see the whole thing, but I can't change it. Good. That's the step before change.
Oh, good. I'm
Yeah,
definitely in that step.
yeah. That's the awareness. You're very aware of it. You can articulate it. You can see what he's doing. You can see what you're doing. You know where it comes from. So that's all good. So what I always say is, awareness is the first step. Get crystal clear, on his dynamic, on your dynamic, and then you have to hit the pause button. That's when you have to pull back, because our nature, most of us want to try to get the partner to change, and there's very subtle ways we do it. Our ahankara, which is like our ego, is very, very good at rationalizing why I'm not trying to get him to change, really. So basically we are, but we don't want to call it that, And so what we have to do is, unless they're like physically abusing you or doing something to your child or something, basically, if he's just sitting on the couch like a couch potato, you did the right thing. Like, that's his nature, that's kapha. The next step is to say, I'm feeling very frustrated and I have to do something about it, not related to him. Not related to talking to him or getting him to change in any way, meaning not even asking him, hey, do you want to just let it be and work on you, which is your inner child. That's the inner child work. Where you go, okay, sweetheart, I see. And try to think of a memory, like, how was it for you when you were 3 or 5, or what age it was when dad just wasn't there for you? He just wasn't checked in. He was stressed about work, or you weren't even living with him, or, what was the situation where dad was not there for you? And the reason why I'm saying dad is because oftentimes in romantic relationships, it's
the opposite.
Their opposite sex parent that you're projecting. So I'm saying dad and partner, because you have a male partner and father. So you're projecting whatever unfinished business you had with dad onto the male partner, but that's not the whole story. It could also be mom. Mom didn't attune to emotionally as well. So it feels incredibly painful. So then you have to look at that. And I always say, get out that journal, crack out the journal, and start writing about your feelings. And even if it's just one memory, that could be enough to make a painful samskara, and write about those and do some inner child work, ideally with a therapist who can guide you into talking to your inner child, nurturing your inner child. Because the way samskaras work are, just imagine the samskara like a Microsoft Word document or like a video. It's something that got created, that can get destroyed, and that can get modified. It's not something that's like set for your whole entire life. So then we say, oh, what samskara is it? Like, be curious. What is it? I remember the time when my dad, sat on the couch and literally ignored me and watched a show the whole time, and I had like hurt my knee, or whatever the memory is, something where he was ignoring you, or he was too busy with his work and he told me, leave me alone, or whatever he did. Do you have some memory like that where your dad was aloof or not emotionally available?
Not that I can remember. I remember him working a lot, like not being home.
Yeah.
And my mom just spending the whole day with us, trying to entertain us and stuff like that. But dad not being around much, just working. Yeah.
And when he would come home, how would he act when he saw you, when he would come home?
Coming home was always like a big hug and happiness, and he's that joyful person. But again, I don't have memories of him like hanging out with us, playing with us, or us sitting on his lap. Like, it's so strange.
There you go.
It's
There you
like,
go.
oh, but also I grew up in a time of war. So it was
Yeah.
like, okay, let's just stay alive. Let's stay
Right.
alive
So
today.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
you guys were in survival mode. And your dad was probably stressed and probably not trying to show it to you, but little kids are smart. They pick up on their parents' feelings. So you
Yes.
maybe could pick up on the fact that your dad was a little shut down and a little stressed because of war. And you got that hug and stuff, which is wonderful that he did validate you in that way. But you don't have memories of like very many playful or joyful times with him, maybe because he was working so hard and also because he was maybe stressed. Like he's trying to protect the whole family and you're in a war zone. So
Yeah.
so that it's very subtle, but it's very powerful that you don't have those memories of being on his lap, and most
Mhm.
likely he came home, he gave you the hug, you guys had dinner, and he might have just been sitting there, like not engaging with you. Um, besides the hug, and all little kids usually want to sit in their dad's lap if their dad's nice. So you probably wanted that. So you may not remember that, but you wanted to connect with
Yeah.
him in that way. So it's not that you have to remember everything, but we're getting the theme. And the way you can
Yeah.
tell what the memory was how you feel about the current partner, because it's not coming from nowhere. So it's if it triggers you that he's sitting on the couch and just not engaging with you, that means that your dad
Mhm.
did something similar. We don't know what it is exactly, but he did something similar. So the way you work with it is you have to go against all of your desire and urge to want to grab your partner and be like, why don't you just want to hang out with me? Or to make some plan to go do something, or to say, don't you love me? Or why don't you care? You got to drop all that and go in and do that journaling, nurture your inner child, and tell your inner child when you nurture. What I mean by that is, first of all, acknowledge the feelings. Like you're feeling so
Mhm.
lonely, you're feeling so unloved, you're feeling abandoned, rejected, unimportant, whatever those feelings are. And then you have to tell your inner child, I'm here for you now.
This is
You
not
know?
that. I
Yeah.
think you've told me that, like, and that
Yeah.
sticks with me. And it's
Yeah.
like, this moment is not that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
This
got
moment,
you.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. You didn't have somebody back then. That's the difference. But you're still remembering it. But actually, what's happening now with your partner, that's not that. That's his personality. It's not that he doesn't love you, you know. But I'm here for you. I'm your mother. I'm your loving, nurturing mother, the one you never had in terms of what you
Mhm.
need. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. You are lovable. You are worthy. You're not alone because I'm right here and I see your heart all the time and I'm taking care of you. And actually, there's no person in the world who can give you what you need because nobody knows you like me.
Mm. Oh my
And then
gosh,
you
I
say,
love that.
isn't that sweet? So you don't
Yeah.
have to rely on anybody else, not your partner, not your mom, not your dad. So then you say, what do you need now? What would you like to do? I want to hug him. Well, I know you want that, but he's not checked in right now. So what can I give you? What can you and I do together? Maybe we don't even
Mhm.
need to be in the house sitting around waiting for a crumble of his love. Maybe we should call a girlfriend who's also waiting for her partner to wake up and smell the coffee. So maybe the two of us could go out and get a coffee together, you know? Like
Yeah.
women have a way of connecting that's very special that a man and a woman can't connect. A really good
Mhm.
girlfriend, right? So you call a friend, text a friend, call a friend, go meet up with a friend, do a Zoom call with a friend, something where you connect with your heart to someone who has that ability and interest and is available.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. I want to repeat that because it's such an important point. And I want us to all remember. So when we get triggered by something like that, we need to pause, remove ourselves from that situation, and just go internal, check in with ourselves, grab our journal, and start just writing about our emotions. And one of the
Yeah.
greatest things that you introduced to me is the wheel of emotions that I love, and I actually have it on a pillow now on our couch.
Oh.
So
So
every
what
time,
emotions? What emotions did you say?
the wheel of emotions.
Oh, the feelings wheel. The feelings
Yeah, the
wheel.
feelings
Okay.
wheel. Sorry,
So
I
cool.
call it the wheel of emotion. But I have it, and the girls look at it now and they're like, I'm angry, but no, let's go further in and see what kind of anger it is. And so
Good.
I'm teaching them to really understand their emotions. And I think that something like that would be helpful for people to look at, because a lot of times we don't even know what we're feeling. It's like all
Yeah,
jumbled
exactly,
inside, and
Paris.
it's coming
Yes.
out as like crying or
Yeah.
heat in the face or in our
Yeah.
chest, and we don't know why.
That's
And
a
we
very
want to
good
just
point.
take it out on our partner, and it's not
Yeah, I mean,
helpful.
And we want our partner to read our mind, basically. We want our partner to read our mind and then make it all better. And that's coming from probably 3 years old.
Wow.
Like, it's not an adult. We're all in our adulthood now. So no adult actually needs that, unless you have, like, you're living in a place where you actually have a severe, problem, and you're not functional without a caregiver. But we don't need that. You don't need that, but when we get in that place, when we're triggered emotionally, we literally want our partner to stop and drop everything and be like, oh my God, you must be feeling sad and rejected right now because I'm watching the TV. And you probably feel abandoned and lonely too. I'm so sorry. It's my bad. Let me just drop everything and give you a hug and tell you that you're the most special, most beautiful person in the world. And I want to spend all my time with you. What should I do? Do you want me to cancel everything else and forget the night out with the guys and forget this and this? I screwed up. That's what we want. But
Yes.
So that's to the extent of our little girl. That's our little girl. Yeah. 3-year-old Paris being like, Daddy, why don't you see me?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's incredible. And yes, ladies, mostly ladies watch this, so I'm just gonna say ladies.
Yes.
Tune into yourself and find your inner child. And I just had this client that just did all this inner child work with me, and she just, honestly, like the last couple of sessions we had together, she just blossomed in a way that I just could see her face change.
Yeah.
Like, she was glowing in a different way. But her and I went through so many sessions where we cuddled and we really nurtured that inner child that was so hurt and left out and not taken care of.
Yes.
And I had her put her whatever age came to her, and it was around 3 or 4. And we put her picture, 40-year-old, somewhere on her desk. Every morning she would say hi to her. She would offer her whatever they were doing in the house, or include her in everything that was being done. And I mean, 12 sessions, 16 sessions later, she's like just blossoming in that. And so this work really does work, and it's what we need. It's like nurturing that inner part. And I love that you mentioned also the woman to woman connection. It's different. It's just a different kind of
Very
nurturing.
Different. Yeah. One thing I say to so many of my clients is I say, stop trying to make your husband or your boyfriend your girlfriend, because he's not. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to go shopping with you. He doesn't want to look at your lotions and potions. He doesn't want to hear about all the deepest feelings in your heart. He probably doesn't want to read poetry with you. And I'm making a generalization. There's some, partners who do, but in general, that's a theme I hear with my clients, because I have a lot of male clients, and that's what they say about their wives. I don't want to do that. I want to, but there are some who do. I shouldn't say for everybody, but in general, like your point is for women, hang out with your women friends who are interested in that. You have a lot more fun, and stop trying to make your husband or boyfriend your girlfriend, and the relationship will get a lot easier. Because just because the husband can't validate your feelings and doesn't know your heart does not mean he's not a good husband. That's the thing. And so many women are like, he just doesn't understand my feelings, so that's it. And it's like, well, actually, if you understand your feelings and you nurture your inner child, you don't need him to do that for you. The analogy I always say, like, do you want your partner to like pee for you and poop for you and eat for you also? Because that's what you're asking him to do. When you don't take care of and nurture your own feelings, you're asking your partner to do something inappropriate for you. That's not his job. Not his job. That's your job.
That is such a great point. So if we're not taking care of ourselves, or if we don't know who we are, or our emotions, or how to handle our emotions, or what we need at this moment, how would this poor guy, like,
exactly,
who is on his own journey,
who has his own samskaras, yep. So that's what I say. I say, as an adult, how many times in your life when you haven't been like shit-faced drunk, how many times when you've been sober have you just like peed your pants at a meeting, just walking around? Like, we don't usually just do that unless you have a serious bladder control problem, right? So we don't just walk around and pee our pants. It's not socially acceptable. And all of us have learned, we've all mostly been potty trained, right? And we know when you're about to pee, like you don't ever hold it that long till you pee, unless it's a very extreme emergency. So why is it that we almost every day are having like basically peeing our pants with our emotions? That's how it looks. When you have an anger outburst on someone, that means you peed your pants.
Oh dear. Yes.
Right? That means you didn't control it. You didn't even acknowledge it or catch it or nurture inner child. And then you blast out on somebody else. That's like peeing your pants, you know? But socially,
Yeah.
we've been conditioned to know that it's not okay to pee your pants and it's really embarrassing and you feel ashamed if you do it. So we have no problem getting up and leaving a meeting, an important meeting even, to go pee, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have no problem pulling off on the side of the road and driving 5 more extra miles to go find the nearest bathroom if we have to pee. So we do a lot of things. Actually, if you notice what you do when you have to pee, especially when you're like out in public, you will find the bathroom. Or like some people have to like just go in the woods if you can't find a toilet, right? But you will make sure that you pee. You're not going to pee your pants. So think about that concept and apply it to our feelings. I rarely see people who have good awareness and control of their feelings. It's not that the feelings aren't coming, but we're not aware of them, so they get so high that we either blast out in anger at somebody, we get completely depressed and don't even acknowledge, we don't even realize that we're depressed. You know, we think it's because of this or that or the other. We have extreme anxiety that we take out on other people and we tell them that they have to change in this way so we're not so anxious. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so those are all examples of peeing your pants. The awareness is like very low of the
Yes.
mental problems, the feelings. Our
The
awareness
feelings.
is very low of the feelings. And so they manifest fully looking like we've peed our pants, you know? And then we still don't realize we've done it actually. After we pee our pants, this is how the session goes. Can you believe my husband? Can you believe what he did? That, and I'm like, okay. So you didn't have any responsibility in this. No, it's him. Let me tell you all the things wrong with him. So that's basically how it would look physically, is that somebody's peed their pants and said that their husband made them pee their pants. That's how it looks to me when somebody
Right.
comes.
Yes. Let's not pee our pants.
Yeah.
Let's have control of our
Yeah.
emotions. And the way
Yes.
we get control of our emotions, again, is pause,
Yep.
because the emotions are going to come. It's not like we're
Yes.
getting rid of anything.
Yeah. No.
We're
Right.
human and we are
Yeah.
full of emotions,
It's
especially as
normal.
women.
Yeah.
It's so
Normal.
normal. And
Yep.
so the emotions will come if
Yep.
we have, sometimes I have, for my very emotional clients, we have like a pre-plan. So we plan it,
Yeah.
we write it
Yeah.
down. This is
Yep.
what we're going to do step by step. When the first sign of that emotion comes,
Yep.
what do you
Yep.
feel in your body? Where do you feel it in your body?
Yep.
Pause,
Yep.
step back,
Yep.
have a spot for yourself in your home that
Yep.
you can sit, and maybe that's your safest spot. Or
Yeah.
I have like my meditation room and I just go there, sit down,
Yep.
journal, um
Yep.
have a plan, because in the heat
That's a
of
good
the
idea.
moment,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to pull
Very.
back. Once you're
Yeah.
like, "Ah," all
Yeah.
this like
Yeah. That's a good
all of
idea.
that comes out, then you can't really pull back. So you have to have a plan.
Yes, very good. Excellent. And you can even do a preventative plan, meaning like in Ayurveda, right? We do dinacharya, we do things to take care of our
Mm,
body. We don't have a problem. We just do it because we know we have to cleanse everything out every day, right? You clean your tongue, your eyes, your nose. So in Vedic psychology, I tell my clients, do the mind cleaning plan every day, and we make a different one for different people depending on what works for them. But it's checking in with your feelings, gazing in the mirror, looking into your eyes. What am I feeling? Writing about it, talking to inner child before you even are triggered. Preventative, just like scraping your tongue, you know?
absolutely. That's such a great point. And that's why we love Ayurveda, because Ayurveda is so
Yes.
preventative. So it's
Yeah.
not like, let's, the disease or illness or emotions manifest to a point where we can't pull it back. Let's
Right.
prevent it. And
Yes.
all
That's
of
the
these
whole
practices, yes. I love that you mentioned looking at yourself in the mirror. That's another big
Yeah.
thing that I've seen a lot of good outcome. Just look
Yeah.
in your own eyes. Like,
Yeah.
who am I? Like, how am I feeling? What is
Yeah.
it that I
Yeah.
need? What do I need today? And
Yeah.
it will change your life, because
Yeah.
a
Yes.
lot of us don't even want to look at who we are or look at ourselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
you know.
True.
It's very scary thing to do for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
if you are able to look inside of yourself, a lot of things are going to change in your life,
Yeah.
you know.
Looking inside, taking responsibility, saying, okay, that's my stuff. I'm feeling chronically anxious. I have to figure out why, and not blame it on somebody else, That's
Yes.
right. A lot of things will change if you start looking
Wow.
in and seeing whatever's there.
Yes. Wow. Amazing. This was so incredible, Dr. Jessica. You're so wise and you have so much knowledge, and this was such a great honor to be having this conversation with you. We learned a lot of little goodies and big goodies. And I just want to also let the listeners know where they can find you. I know you're really busy. You probably are not looking for any more business, but for any more clients, but where can they find you? I know that you do really beautiful lectures that they're very, very, very helpful to understand these patterns, to understand our mind in the Ayurvedic psychology way. So just let us know a little bit where we can find you and how the listeners can work with you.
Yeah, thank you, Paris. So we have our institute is called the Vedic Psychology Institute that Babaji and I started. So it's a very long mouthful, but the website is myvedicpsychology.com. So
Amazing.
on there,
And I'll include it here under
okay.
this podcast. Yeah.
So we have that, and then we have our YouTube channel, which is the Vedic Psychology Institute as well. And there's where I put the Vedic psychology, these free lectures talking about the mind, and from the Ayurvedic standpoint of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So that's really interesting, and tying that into mother's attachment and different things. So you might find that interesting. And then we have Instagram where I put little posts, related to not only Vedic psychology, but life in India. Sometimes I just put, you've seen, right? Random things about a
Yes.
cow down the street or some monkeys doing something crazy.
I love the cows and the monkeys. Yes. In your posts.
Yeah. Yeah. We have that. And and depending on the type of client, I am open to seeing clients. I still have openings, especially if they're coming through you. If they're listening to your podcast, that's a what do you call it? Pre-qualified client. It's not just a random person off the street. If they're listening to you, they're already into what we do. So I'd be
Amazing.
here. Yeah. So on the website, there's a form, contact us or something, and they can contact me if they want to do.
Amazing.
We
Yep.
also have e-courses. So some people may not want to do a session or listen to my, YouTube channel, but we've made, I think, 13 e-courses, all on all different topics related to Vedic psychology that are asynchronous. So you just can purchase the course and take it yourself, and you can learn about all different types of things related to Vedic psychology. And Babaji and I teach them together. So you'll hear from a guru too, what a guru has to say, about all these different topics.
Yeah, he's one of those people where I say, in his presence, when you're in his presence, you heal even,
Totally.
And
he
I'm
taught
like,
for Palu, right? He was like a faculty, a core faculty for the Kripalu School of Ayurveda, and he taught
yes,
psychology for many
that's
years.
how I got to know him. Yes. And then I'm so lucky because Babaji stayed in my house.
Yes.
Not once, twice, 3 times, I think. And it was so amazing. He cooked for us.
That was amazing.
Most amazing food. Wow.
Those were the days. Yes. He doesn't travel anymore.
He doesn't travel anymore, but hopefully at some point we can talk to him and definitely listen to his lectures. So everyone, you can find all of that stuff, good stuff, on the website that I'll put down here. And thank you so much. This was wonderful.
It was fun.
It was really fun. I love it when we both go at it.
Yeah.